Yes, a very good afternoon to you tuned into UBC TV. Welcome to our lunchtime news today, Thursday, the 10th of November, 2022. My name is Michael Jordan Lukomwa, and this is what we have for you this afternoon. Youth from the East African Community member states want more funds from their respective countries to enable them boost and engage more in innovation, science and technology. They communicated this during the opening of the 3-day East African Youth Innovation Forum that was held in Kampala. We have the story in detail.
Youth still make a bigger percentage in the East African countries, with the estimated number of 70%. With this percentage, youth in developing countries still contribute to a wide range of unemployment. Although some youth have managed to address unemployment by embracing technology and innovation, due to challenges they encounter on the way, this in turn affects their goals.
You agree that the science, technology and innovation is heavily underfunded. Even at the East African community, by the way, we have a challenge where you find that the bigger budget is going to politicians.
When we don't have youth accessing resources, this is because, for example, loans are either too expensive or we don't have the security to be able to access these loans. Secondly is even just the development of this infrastructure in itself.
During the East African Community Youth Innovation Forum held in Kampala, based on 5 pillars of energy, agriculture, health and climate change, successful innovators shared ideals to fellow youth on how to be innovative.
We are here promoting innovation, but we still have a mentality of thinking that East African products are not good, which is very bad. Because as far as fashion is concerned, we must ensure that we promote our products.
For every innovation you sponsor, right, that's a business you've been able to sponsor. For every business you sponsor, that's 5, for example, you create employment for 5 more youth out there.
The Executive Secretary, East African Science and Technology Commission, Silas Okoth, highlighted on some of the hindrances which deter the youth from embracing innovation, some issues they aim at addressing as a community.
We have unstructured innovation that are just sprouting out of personal initiatives that cannot even be patented. But we want to formalize innovations. As an entry point, we go for an already existing innovations and we look backwards. How did they originate? Can we improve them by improving first the skills and the focus of the innovators?
The more we come together, the more we create a bigger market for all our citizens. You know, goods in Uganda can be sold in the Republic of South Sudan. They can as well be sold in Tanzania.
The youth who attended the conference were optimistic that the conference will yield results.
We need to ensure that we bring data prices down, to ensure that we promote innovation. That is 1. 2, we must ensure that we harmonize the ICT and the STI frameworks in the region.
So even the more we develop this regionally as opposed to nationally, we open our access to markets for youth innovations.
The conference was held under the theme, Unlocking Youth Development Potential Through Innovation. Rebecca Natongo, UBC News. Parliament tasked the Ministry of Finance and Planning to present a statement on the possibility of awarding an independent budget to Ministry of Disaster Preparedness. This follows an outcry from Disaster Minister Engineer Hilary Onek, citing lack of funding as the main factor delaying response to emergency situations in the country. The minister also decried diversion of funds meant for disaster situations once region disaster centers established across the country.
The challenge of disaster management has found its way back to the floor of Parliament. This time, it is backed by a call for an independent budget set aside for the Ministry of Relief and Disaster Preparedness.
The purpose for something called a ministry is supposed to be effective and efficient. Our case, we are not effective and efficient. Finish. Because of bureaucracy.
These concerns by Engineer Hilary Onek were complementary to an earlier statement from his junior minister, Esther Anyakun.
Homes have been destroyed, nothing. Our population is suffering. Here you are. In fact, if I were not strong enough to have, I would have had a heart attack long time ago.
Capacity building, research, enhancing disaster preparedness for effective response, and to build back better in a recovery, rehabilitation, and reconstruction, among others.
Disaster comes, we are not ready. And those are the problems we have. That's why I asked each of the president, give us a separate vote.
These concerns attracted divergent views from members of parliament.
Today, what was destroyed has not been touched.
A colleague was talking about enabling the ministry to get a separate vote. Honestly, each one of us should support this one.
Would it be okay to offer comfort to this House if the Right Honourable Prime Minister explained the extent of the diversion of monies meant for disasters?
Speaker of Parliament Anita Among was prompted to direct Ministry of Finance to act, a commitment that was affirmed too.
The role of giving a vote lies with the PSST, that is the Minister of Finance. And since the Minister has presented his case, everything has been presented, we are going to refer this to the Ministry to determine the stability of the Ministry.
We undertake to look into the matter and report back to the House at an earliest opportunity.
Minister Onek also wants disaster management centers established at regional level. Henry Okrut, UBC.
UBC Lunchtime News. Security, together with Uganda Electricity Transmission Company Limited, intercepted a truck of scrap containing transmission tower materials in Iganga district. Materials recovered are remnants from the stolen lattice towers on Bujagali Tororo Leso's transmission line.
Through whistleblower strategy, Uganda Electricity Transmission Company Limited managed to intercept transmission materials while en routing to market.
That car we've seen with the materials. So we urge all people in the business to see that we give this lead information, work with the police, work with the local leaders to ensure that we fight this vice and we save the government and ourselves from these billions of money that we lose each and every time.
The truck containing stolen 85 pieces of angle bars was intercepted by security in Iganga district and one suspect arrested.
We've lost 52 towers, lattice towers. Now when you compute that money, it means that we need about 37.5 billion shillings to see that we replace these lattice towers. So we are losing a lot of money as UETCL first because there is a lot of delay in project completion, and as a nation we are also losing a lot of money.
The Power Transmission Board is appealing to the business community dealing in aluminium business to cooperate in fighting power line vandalism.
I'd like to thank Tembo Industries, the one in Iganga, because they are dealing in steel or scrap, but they are the ones who gave us information to see that the suspect was arrested.
This Bujagali Toro power line has stalled, and the company attributes this delay to the vandals who target already erected towers for selfish interests. At least 52 towers on this line require replacement with attached cost of 37.5 billion shillings. Abdul Nasser Lukomwa, UBC News.
The Director NRM Mobilization, Rosemary Seninde, has said that the Secretariat is to partner with Kampala Capital City Authority to train councillors on engaging the majority to embrace government programs. Seninde made the remarks in a meeting with Kampala Capital City Authority NRM Councillors Caucus of the 5 divisions of Kampala. The meeting was attended by the Minister for Kampala, the Lord Mayor Salim Uhuru, among others, at the office of the Prime Minister in Kampala.
Welcome to Friends Stadium. Everybody's ready. Wait a second, not everybody. Come on, dude. It's the FIFA World Cup. You're going to lose your seat, the ritual seat, the lucky one. Losing more than a seat, your team is going to lose. Where are you, dude? The match is about to start. Your friends won't hold on much longer. Excuse me. Finally, everything is in the right place. Hey, other hand. And you, do you have everything you need to believe?
Kampala Capital City councillors have almost made 1 year and a half in council and have reported need of trainings to help them use in their advocacy programs.
Really urge on behalf of these councillors that such elements are put into what? Consideration. Tumerani national celebrations.
Speaking to the councillors, the Director NRM Mobilization, Rosemary Seninde, asked them to desist from internal conflicts, mobilize people and make research while making strategies in mobilization.
There are challenges of follow-up, following up and monitoring the service delivery by the councillors is still a challenge. And of course, most of our challenges, I think, need to be helped in training, giving them some trainings for mobilization, advocacy and lobbying skills, because it seems they still lack something.
Seninde says her office is to organize trainings of councillors for attainment of skills.
So, of course, as a party, we are going to organize a training for these councillors so that we can be able to help them. They need to appreciate their roles. They should not always just complain about government has not done this, government hasn't done that, and yet they also play a crucial role. We have also noted that internal bickering, the internal conflicts as a party is also a big problem for us as NRM. Even amongst them, councillors, they still have those internal fights, and of course this is not healthy. So I think when we take them for the training, I believe and I have no doubt we shall make a difference.
The councillors noted the need of recognition on national ceremonies and to be engaged in launching of government projects. Minister of Kampala Hajat Minsa Kabanda pledged to organize retreats for NRM councillors to compare methods of work with what they are doing.
As NRM councillors, we wanted to brief them as what is taking place in the government, as how we are going to work with us, how they are going to work with us, how they are going to implement government programs. So that's why we met them. And I'm happy we've met them, at least a good number has been around, and we are meeting them for a baraza on Monday, and we pledged that we should work with them.
The councillors requested for a meeting with the national chairperson NRM on issues of modernizing Kampala. They requested government to look into the issue of border and facilitation of their circles, highlighting lobbying of funds to improve their welfare. Sudat Kaye, UBC News.
Land wrangles, criminal trespass and malicious damage to properties, especially of Bibanja holders, are still rampant kind of misbehavior in the country. The Assistant Private Secretary, Land Department at State House Ocheng Edward Sunday has cautioned landlords against these practices of criminal trespass and malicious damage of property because it is all criminal.
State House Department of Land Matters is not happy with the seemingly increasing land conflicts between Bibanja holders and landlords that often leads to loss of property. A case in point is a land wrangle between the family of Blasio Kizawa Lusimbi at Magala Muduma in Impigi district and the landlord Eva Nabawanga, whom they accuse of trespass and violent destruction of property.
Ebiwandiko byonna ebitukakasa ku ttaka ku kibanja tubiina n'abajuliza abaaliwo mu 2025 nga omugenzi Blasio Kizawa Lusimbi agula ku liiso n'ettaka weebali balamu era baamusanga wakaawe essekanyonyi.
The Assistant Private Secretary, Department of Land Matters at State House, Ocheng Edward Sunday, is now cautioning landlords and the general public against trespassing and malicious damage of property. Ocheng was at the estate of the late Blasio Walusimbi at Impigi district to witness the eucalyptus trees allegedly cut by the landlord, Ivan Nabawanga, without court order.
We do encourage both parties not to take the law into their hands. As per the allegation,
Naba Wanga trespassed and maliciously destroyed the trees belonging to the petitioner. So I advise both sides not to take the law into their hands, because land matters culminate into a security if not properly handled.
Despite a land law enacted over 15 years ago and efforts to establish a department aimed at reducing land wrangles, land cases are still rampant in most parts of the country. Salongo Kasvante compiled this report.
China Railway 18th Bureau Group of Companies Limited workers have quit over poor hygiene in Hoima City. Speaking during a meeting with the business community in Hoima Central Market, the company sociologist Angel Ntege said that workers along Passe Road are striking, yet they are the ones delaying the construction works.
The road construction works in Hoima City has slowed due to poor hygiene of the residents and denial of right-of-way to the contractors by some landlords. The contractor has requested the beneficiaries of the road to stay calm as construction works continue. Reste Ayesiza, the company's public relations officer, requested the residents and business community along Passe Road to maintain maximum hygiene, especially when it comes to management of garbage in plastics.
We cover the road unknowingly when the bottle is there. That is where we see potholes in the shortest land, like potholes in the shortest land. Like you see the road cracking. You see the concrete, like the drainage system not working very well because of the polythene bags.
Some of the landlords, Annette Wabiona and Annette Atugonza, said a number of tenants are not cooperative and do not take hygiene as a priority. The chairperson LC1 Central Market, Julius Ayesiga, blamed the company for shifting poles of the electricity, which has also contributed. William Kasigazi, the RCC of Hoima East City Division, warned the residents against poor hygiene.
They are just pouring the waste into these trenches, which is very, very bad. It is very, very unfortunate. So, and we have realized anything can happen. So for that matter, to keep our people also working, we are again warning these people that please keep your place very clean. And don't even use, because they are using buckets, throw this waste into the trench. And this is the reason why even some people now have decided to riot, and will not really allow that.
Some of the roads that are being worked on in Hoima City by the same contractor include Passe Road, Commercial Road, Circular Road, Government Road, Tayali Road, Crown Road, Eka Road, Mandela and Kasasa Road, totaling to 4.3 kilometers. Efforts to get the Hoima City Health Officer were futile.
State Minister for Primary Education, Dr. Joyce Muriku Kaduchu, has cautioned the Joint Admissions Board members against corruption in the selection exercise for admission to tertiary institutions. Officiating at the commencement of the 2 days exercise, Kaduchu emphasized the need to consider merit in the admission application exercise.
There should be no corruption. Give it on merit for those who deserve it. Not that those who do not meet but they want to pay money and they get the admission. That is why we are cautioning. We don't want corruption. We don't want people who do not qualify on government scholarship and they pay money and they get the scholarship. We've got a lot of reforms. Government has put in place a lot of reforms. We are doing it one at a time. Each financial year, we take one at a time. The other financial year, we took the primary and secondary and A-level. We are hoping this coming financial year to pick other cohort of students.
Teenage pregnancy is one of the reproductive health challenges affecting underage girls, especially those in school. Raising Teenagers Uganda, an organization promoting affected girls to stay in school even while pregnant after giving birth, wants parents to talk to their children about sexual issues to avoid such incidents. The organization's leader, Nankunda Hope, also believes that national strategy to end child marriage and teenage pregnancy in Uganda will help give the affected girls hope and a bright future.
End child marriage now! Well, child marriage is disastrous. It's inhumane and it's a human rights violation. And I want communities to understand that the fact that girls are married off young is wrong. And they need to be held accountable. They need to know that that is defilement. That is criminal. When a girl is married off young, she's not able to be in school, she's not able to make informed decisions, she's not able to get the economic muscle to help her thrive in life. And we need to break that. We need to change that.
But let it be a choice than having a conversation of saying that everyone should not go to school. If we are to break this stigma against these issues, then we must have them stay where people are seeing them. We can't break a stigma which people are not seeing.
Well, I feel like she can actually deliver the baby, and after delivery she goes back to school without anybody getting to know her story, so that she's safe from all the stigma and the trauma that she might face.
And one way, and the only way actually, to fight child marriages is to keep girls in school. If girls are not married, if the girls are not in school and are married off young, that they give birth to more children, they will not be able to access family planning, and that will cause more poverty levels for the country. We'll have more children dying off young, we'll have more children not being in school because their mothers were not educated.
Child marriage is not a one-person's show. It is a multi-sectoral important issue that must be work done with different stakeholders at parliament level, at ministry level, at CSO level, and even the community. And we are ready to move on with the other key stakeholders to ensure that the renewed national strategy to end teenage pregnancy and child marriage is implemented, is disseminated, and that children in different communities across the country are protected and supported to achieve their full potential.
Over 20 inmates from Moroto Prison sat for their primary living examinations at Nakapelimen Primary School in Moroto Municipality. A 17-year-old boy who killed his fellow pupil in a fist fight is among the 928 candidates who have sat for their PLE in Moroto District.
Moroto Prison has had inmates writing their primary living examinations at a new center that has just been established. Prisons officials confirmed that over 90% of the 20 candidates who sat the exams are Karamijong on capital offences.
And among these 50 candidates, we have 12 girls, and then 38 are boys.
Right now, this is 2022. I have presented the 9 candidates for PLE 2022. They are all present. This is my first attempt to present candidates for P7 for PLE. Since I started the school, it was in 2011.
Authorities have disclosed that plans are underway to introduce a secondary school and vocational institute section at the prison school to equip prisoners with skills. Meanwhile, a 17-year-old boy who killed his fellow pupil accidentally was among the inmates who wrote his papers at Moroto Prison Center.
Of the boy, incidentally or coincidentally, he was involved in an accident that took place at Tapach Primary School. Previously, he has been with us from primary 1 up to primary 6, and we were only surprised to be told that as he went to Musasi, he was also registered at Musasi Primary School. So he was registered twice. It's like a play, and the friend remained there. So it was tough. He had to run. They brought him here, and he was put in. But of course, we could not keep quiet. We went ahead and kept on saying, now, this is a candidate, he's registered for PLA. What do you say? They say, okay, we shall allow him to come back. And I imagine if he was not registered here, he would have lost this chance. But because he had registered it twice, we had no problem. He said, it's okay. And now he's here with the rest.
Education stakeholders in West Nile are dealing with outdated ideologies that keep the girl child out of school after teenage pregnancy. In West Nile, teenage pregnancy prevalence rate is, and after producing, the girl child languishes or the parents forced her into early marriage. Our reporter in Arua City, Joseph Odama, brings you a 22-year-old who, after becoming pregnant, has beaten all odds and sat for his PLE in the just concluded primary living examinations exercise all over the country.
A 22-year-old Salome Tokam, a pupil of Oracle Primary School in Arua City, has dealt a final blow to community attitudes of keeping the girl out of school after they fall victim to teenage pregnancy. Salome Toka dropped out of Primary 7 in 2018 due to school fees. She later became pregnant but returned to school after 4 years and has sat primary living examination PLE.
I have parents, but they are poor. The only thing they can do is to feed us. I so much loved going to school. By that time, my colleagues were going to sit for PLE, but I dropped because of school fees.
The head teacher of Oracle Primary School, Jane Rijaru, told UBC that Toka was a determined girl despite her age.
When she first came, she was fiery. She reported lately when we were almost registering all the candidates, and we started educating that school children so that she may not be laughed at.
After 2 years, Toka's parents accepted her back home and helped her to nurture the baby. At this moment, she started playing football, where one of the local clubs within Arua City, Swede Sporting Club, considered her. The coach, Amina Atako, who has encouraged 33 other girls with similar stories like Toka, told her to go back to school.
After dropping out of school, I got a friend. I eventually conceived. After the 2 years, my parents decided to bring me back home. I started to work as a maid and any other work so that I can buy soap for my child. After that, I started to play football and I was considered. Those people told me to go back to school, that they would sponsor me, which I accepted and went back to school. And I don't want to repeat my past mistakes.
Now Toka wants to join secondary education and wishes to become an agricultural expert. Arua City Principal Education Officer Raymond Ombere emphasizes that the education department's new approach encourages schools and communities to educate parents on the girl child.
I termed the visit to every primary school operation searching for the lost child. And during this operation, I talked to teachers and I talked to the learners. And I charged the teachers together with the learners, together with the head teachers, to search, to look for children who had registered for PLE but were not attending school now, either due to early pregnancy or due to early marriage, teenage marriage. And I want to say this effort has paid off.
Toka's family wishes her success after her struggle in education.
I feel very happy of her coming back to school.
So at that age, I just felt she's school going age. So that's why I went and bring her back home. So from there, she also did not refuse and she coped up with us and then she went back to school.
Teenage pregnancy prevalence in West Nile region escalated during the COVID-19 lockdown, where over 3,000 school-age-going girls were affected. According to a UNICEF report released March this year, 1 in 10 of school children in Uganda did not report back to school by January 2022 after COVID-19 lockdown was lifted. Joseph Odama, UBC News in Arua City.
Stakeholders led by Uganda's Stop TB partnership together with the Parliamentary Caucus on TB have expressed need to intensify awareness on the tuberculosis prevalence if they are to realize their goal of eliminating TB out of Uganda by the year 2030. Tuberculosis is allegedly responsible for the death of over 1 million people in Uganda compared to HIV and AIDS that kills 950,000 people annually.
Leader of the Parliamentary Caucus on TB, also Mubende woman member of Parliament, Hope Brania Nakazibwe, says TB claims over 1 million people annually in Uganda.
TB kills more people, actually 1.6 million people, compared to the 950,000 people that are killed by HIV. When we look outside this place where we are and into our communities, we see that there's a lot of funding that comes into the eradication of the fight against HIV, unlike it is for the fight against TB. Many people do not know that they have TB until they reach their deathbed. It's the time when they get diagnosed and be able to tell that, oh, it was TB.
The Executive Director, Uganda Stop TB Partnership, Dr. Paul Isiko, says TB claims over 1 million people annually, though it remains underfunded.
We very well know that even for the TB patients, I mean for the HIV patients, the disease that kills them most is TB. But we still continue to receive little funds. In this country, we expect to diagnose about 90,000 patients. But we find that we are not even able to reach all of them with the diagnostics.
These TB stakeholders noted that detention centers in Uganda are still a major cause of TB infection due to congestion.
We should interest ourselves when it comes to prisons and detention centers. There are so many TB cases, so we are calling upon all partners in this campaign to take interest in addressing congested areas like detention centers, prisons, to give special attention and consideration in mitigating the spread.
Let's take a very short break. UBC Lunchtime News returns in a few. Keep it with us.
So, I'm here to announce that the MTN Kampala Marathon is back. And this year, we are running for babies. To be clear, I am not talking about a baby. No. And neither am I talking about to be baby. I am talking about these small dollars.
Run for babies in the MTN Kampala Marathon on Sunday, 20th November 2022. Dial *165 *77# or use the Momo app to register.
Welcome to Friends Stadium. Everybody's ready. Wait a second, not everybody. Come on, dude, it's the FIFA World Cup. You're going to lose your seat, the ritual seat, the lucky one. Losing more than a seat, your team is going to lose. Where are you, dude? The match is about to start. Your friends won't hold out much longer. Excuse me. Finally, everything is in the right place. Hey, other hand. And do you have everything you need to believe?
Get connected today with the My Airtel 4G smartphone, the most affordable smartphone in Uganda. You get to enjoy free 1 GB for 1 whole year. My Airtel 4G smartphone, your best value for money. Visit the nearest Airtel outlet today and get one at only 250,000 Uganda shillings. Airtel, the smartphone network.
The Ministry of Health informs the public that due to the ongoing threat of polio outbreaks in Uganda, it will conduct the second round of the National House-to-House Polio Immunization Campaign from Friday 4th November to Thursday 10th November 2022 in in all the districts of Uganda except those currently handling Ebola outbreaks.
During this second round of the National House-to-House Polio Immunization Campaign, health workers will visit homes, schools, places of worship, markets, daycare centers, shops and playgrounds to immunize all children aged 5 years and below irrespective of their previous vaccination status. This house-to-house polio immunization campaign does not replace routine immunization.
Parents and guardians, please remember to have all your children aged 5 years and below immunized against polio during the second round of the National House-to-House Polio Immunization Campaign from Friday 4th November to Thursday 10th November 2022. The polio vaccine is safe, effective and free.
This message is by the Ministry of Health with support from UNICEF, WHO and partners.
UBC Lunchtime News, thank you so much for watching, and we now go straight to our business news. Economic analysts want government to review youth employment policies to seal the gaps that have limited job creation opportunities among the young people. Government has put in place several initiatives for the youth to be employed, but minimal results have been achieved in terms of fighting the unemployment problem.
Uganda has an estimated 8 million youth representing 21% of the total population. However, this energetic age group is not contributing fully to the economic development of the country due to persistent unemployment challenge. Although government has put in place several programs aimed at creating jobs for the young people, the 2018-2019 Labour Force Survey shows that 46% of the youth don't have skills. The research titled Empirical Review of Youth Employment Policies in Uganda has outlined some recommendations that include standardization of qualifications to answer the question of youth unemployment.
What we require as a country is to standardize the qualification framework, eliminate, the double or the triple awards of certificates. But let us understand that once somebody does these exams, then the qualification you receive is internationally recognized. There are many companies that come to this country to do many projects of government, but cannot employ Ugandans because of lack of trust of the qualification.
Government has been asked to invest more resources in the vocational training institutions such that the youth can acquire real skills needed in the job market.
You may find that some of the schools actually postponed some of the practical hours of lecture because maybe the materials are not available. And so this is a call to government for those institutions that are owned by government to avail more resources out of the government budget to go to the TVET schools.
However, the country's ever-growing population has a contribution to the youth unemployment challenge.
You people and myself, we are doing a very good job in terms of producing people. The question is whether the population growth matches the economic growth. And when there is a mismatch between the economic growth and the population growth, then there is a problem. For a population to be able to sustain the people that it produces, the economy must grow 3 times faster than the population growth.
But as the youth try to look for opportunities elsewhere, it will have a negative impact to the country in the long run, according to analysts.
But ours, when they are going there, which jobs are they doing? We are seeing many of them are dying, others. So now, in the long run, if that one happens and more youths are going, they're not getting skilled, they're not trained. Locally here, we might have scarcity of labor, but also social issues, especially social issues, the family breakdown, because some of them go there when they are married. Their families will break down, but also the young ones who are going there, they may come back with different cultures.
Parents, guardians and the young people have also been challenged to embrace vocational training for employment and job creation. Mary Namkose, Adia Nakuti, UBC News.
And that brings us to the end of all we had for you tonight. Thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you in our other bulletins, Kiswahili, Luganda, and I'll be here myself for news tonight. For now, enjoy the rest of the afternoon. Bye-bye.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Ladies and gentlemen, Livingston brings you Mera the Genesis concert.